Well, hi everyone, Chef Ron Locke here, and we are just about ready to start our premiere episode. That's right, our very first episode of our brand new show called The Chef Ron Locke Show. I am so excited to be able to present this to you. We have spent 9 months of preparation, planning, and execution to make this show as fantastic as we can, and I can't believe that we are right here, ready to start it. I hope you enjoy what you see today and throughout the season. Because what we're going to try to do for you is present 3 E's that you need to take away, hopefully, with each episode. A little bit of entertainment, a little bit of education, and hopefully a little enlightenment as well. All right. Coming up, we have Grandma Flo, Florence Mae Johnson. She's going to go ahead and introduce to you, in her kind of southern wacky style, the recipe and the ingredients, and then right after that I'm going to come in and show you how to put them all together to make a fantastic meal that's going to be short and simple and hopefully a little educational as well. Alright, so with that I'm getting a cue here that we're going to get ready to start, so let's start heating up the kitchen with the Chef Ron Locke Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Florence Mae Johnson, Grandma Flo.
Well, howdy everyone! Florence Mae Johnson here, otherwise known as Grandma Flo. Hey! How's everyone out there? Oh, you all are just too kind. Thank you so much. Oh, Lord, thank you. Okay, you can stop now. Stop now. Come on now, stop. Alright, well I'm Florence Mae Johnson, but everybody knows me as Grandma Flo, alright? So, and the reason they call me Grandma Flo is because I'm pretty much everybody's surrogate grandma is how that works. And so, anyway, I am so excited to be on the premiere episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show. That's right. Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Oh, Lord. And Chef Ron has just been a dream to me all of these years I've known him. Oh, my Lord. Let me tell you a little bit about myself first of all. Well, like I said, my name is Florence Mae Johnson, but they all call me Grandma Flo. Now, I was born in a little town called Pineville, West Virginia. I don't know if anybody has heard of that or not. But anyway, that's where I was born and raised. I had 13 siblings, that's right. There were 13 other little ones besides me running around. Oh my Lord, it was horrid. It was crazy. We had a little Brady Bunch times 2 going on there. Anyway, so, you know, and we lived on a big farm out there. And it was just great. Mommy and Daddy were they were just wonderful people. Daddy was a preacher, and Mama was just trying to keep it all together with all his kids, you know? Well, anyway, so from there, I met my future husband, and we moved to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I got myself my own farm. Yes, I did. I got myself my own farm, and then eventually we moved up to Friendship, Wisconsin, and that's where I met Chef Ron and his family. Because their family has a cabin up in Friendship, Wisconsin as well. And our farm and their cabin is just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other. And we'd meet them out at town gatherings and at the flea markets and the vegetable stands and all that we'd be out there selling our veggies and things like that, you know? So anyway, so that's how we all met. And so from there, that's where I'm at today. You know, I get down here to Florida every so often. Some of my own kids live down this way now. So when I get down to visit them every so often, I do come and visit my little surrogate grandson, Chef Ron. Yes, I do. And I always bring him a plate of his favorite chocolate chip peanut butter cookies that he likes, that I do. So I get to treat him with some good food every once in a while too. So that way he don't have to always cook. You know, Grandma always takes care of her own. You know what I'm saying? You grandmas out there know what I'm talking about. You know, you just love making that stuff for your little young ones up there. I know you do. Well, anyway, so, oh my Lord, getting here today was just crazy. Oh Lord, I'll tell you what, it is just nuts, because I had a situation happen to me. All right, now, you know, the bedroom that we're staying at, my girl's bedroom, my little daughter's bedroom, her guest bedroom overlooks another house. Okay, so there was a new neighbor apparently that moved in the last week or so. So anyway, I'm getting up and I'm getting into my mentionables and all that, you know, and getting ready for today and getting on the show here. Well, all of a sudden I look out this window and there is a naked man looking in my window. And he's just brushing his teeth and all that. And I was like, oh Lord, oh, look at that little welly tagger there. And I just ran. I was just running like crazy. So I just said, I'm calling the police. I said, I do not need this. There was nobody else around. And so I called the authorities, and the dispatcher said she'd have somebody right over. Well, in a little bit they did, and the officer knocked on the door, and I said, you need to come this way. I said, I want you to see this indecent man that is looking into my window, me getting ready, a poor old defenseless grandma. Come on now. So he comes in, and he's looking, and the man's there, and he's got him pretty chest high, and he's putting stuff all over his face and getting ready and stuff. And I said, see, look at him. And the officer goes, ma'am, I can't do anything about him. He ain't naked. And I said, yes, he is. Look at him. And he goes, all I see is a guy from a shirt up, or from not a shirt, you know, a chest up. And I said, you know what? I said, maybe you just need to step on that box next to the window and take a better look. I know. And he looked at me and he goes, well, what were you doing up on that box? And I said, well, I need to water that plant up on the window there. And what am I supposed to do? And he's like, well, I can't do anything about that. That man is not indecent. And so he took off, these rude Florida cops, I'll tell you. So what am I supposed to do? Let that plant die because I can't go up on the box and take a look at the little man's tallywagger? What the heck? What is coming into this world? I want to go back to the days where, you know what, where you knew where a gentleman's bread was buttered, and you knew your family was your family. You know what I'm saying? You had a little respect and all that. Oh my Lord, I'm telling you, I know, it's crazy though, ain't it though? All right. But anyway, so it scared the living bejeebus out of me. I had to finally quit, get ready and everything else, and I just had to run over here. So I'm actually a little out of breath, actually. So that's it, pretty much in a nutshell. Just letting you know a little bit about your Grandma Flo. And I'm, again, just so excited to kick off this new Chef Ron Lock show with my good little grandson, Chef Ron. I'm just so excited. Oh my God, I need to take a breath here for a second. Well, anyway, so let's go ahead and tell you what we're making on today's very first premiere episode of the Chef Ron Lock Show. We're going to do up a Mexican beef casserole. Oh Lord, it is gonna be something else. I've tried this casserole now and I know it is good. If you like it hot and spicy, and let me tell you what, ladies, you know you like it hot and spicy, and so does your husbands, your loved ones, and your significant others. They all love it out there, and you men too know that as well. Well, we all like it hot and spicy, and that's what we're going to be doing for you today on the Chef Ron Lock Show. So let me tell you what is all going in to this Mexican beef casserole. So let's go over here. Woo! Look at all of these ingredients. I hope we can get through all this before the show's over. All right, let's get started. We got here 12 corn tortillas. All right, don't use the flour ones, use the corn ones. The corn ones taste more authentic, all right? All right, Next we got here 4 cups of blended Mexican cheese. You can do your cheeses up whatever you want. If you don't like a lot of cheese on top of your casseroles, you can probably get away with 2 cups. But I know Chef Ron loves his cheese and he always puts a lot more on. So he's using 4 cups for this recipe. Alright. And we got here 1 pound of ground beef. We've got here 1 regular size can of whole corn, drained. Alright. We've got here 1.5 cups of sour cream. That's good stuff. We got here 1 regular size can of black beans. Now make sure you wash those thoroughly because they get a little slimy. You don't want that slime in your food. Nuh-uh. Wash them off good and make sure you drain them. Alright. Alright, now we got here 1 medium size jalapeno pepper that's been chopped up a bit. Now you can get yourself a couple more if you like it really, really hot. Alright. Alright, next up here we got a regular size can of Rotel tomatoes with some chilies in it. Alright. Almost done here. We got 1 medium-sized onion that's been chopped. And last but not least, 1 packet of taco seasoning, your favorite brand. Alright. Well, that is it. Well, I got to get myself moseying out of here because Chef Ron's got to get right back on and show you how to put this Mexican beef casserole all together. And then at the very end, he's going to show you a fantastic presentation that I sure am hoping y'all are going to love as much as I do. So let's hear it. I want you to take care of my grandson while I'm gone. I want a big welcome when he comes out here for his very first show. Alright, so until I get on here the next time, I got to get myself going. Actually, I got to head back up to Wisconsin to our farm and check out our chickens and all that stuff up there. So anyway, we're going to do that. So in the meantime, this is Grandma Flo, Florence Mae Johnson, saying to you all have a great day, and we will see you later. Bye-bye. Well, hi everyone. Chef Ron here. How's everyone doing out there today? Come on, let me hear you. Come on. Come on. Woo-hoo. I want to welcome all of you to the premiere episode of the Chef Ron Log Show. I am so excited to be here. There is nothing greater than loving something you do and being able to share that back with people that you want to give back to, and that's what I'm doing here with some great recipes, some great tips, and a little fun on the side too. And speaking of fun, what'd you think of Grandma Flo, huh? So, with that said, here we are, the premiere episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show, and episode 1 is going to be, as you've already been told by Grandma Flo, is our Mexican beef casserole. That is our recipe that we're going to be doing for you today. Real easy, real simple. Wanted to shoot out the gate with something fast and keeping it short and simple for you for this particular episode. Now, what I've gone ahead and did is I've gone ahead and started getting this recipe ready for you. So we have a little time because we only got about a half an hour total on this show here. So, first thing you always want to do, wash your hands, make sure your environment is nice and clean, and you're ready to go. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and start taking our ingredients that Grandma Flo introduced and putting them all together. So the first thing that you want to do is get yourself here, and I'm going to scoot on over this side. I think you can see a little better here. Get yourself a skillet like we have here. All right. Now, what we've gone ahead and done here on this particular show, we've started the hamburger and onions. Now, what you want to do is take your 1 pound of hamburger and your medium onion that you've cut up and go ahead and just put those in this large skillet. What I like to do when I'm doing hamburger and different things, especially on these kind of skillets that are not non-stick, is put a little bit of water. I try to put a little bit of water just to cover the bottom of the pan. It also kind of cuts the grease a little bit when you're trying to cook. Even with the best hamburgers, you're going to get a little bit of grease. So that's what I like to do. So I prepare that way, put your heat to medium, and basically all you're going to do is just brown your hamburger and saute your onions, and that takes roughly anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes to do on medium heat. Alright, so when you do that, you end up with this kind of result. And here we go. So then what you're going to do after that is we're going to go ahead and start taking our ingredients that we have, and we're going to go ahead and just put those in. We've got some great ingredients. let's go ahead and do that right now, all right? First thing we have here is we've got our Rotel, our chilies here. We're going to go ahead and put that in, like so. Okay? Then what we have next is we have our black beans. And we're going to go ahead now, add this. Now with the black beans, you want to go ahead and drain these, as you want to also go ahead and drain the Rotel chilies and all the other ingredients we're going to show you here in just a bit. But you want to make sure you go ahead and drain the black beans. Also, make sure you wash them thoroughly, because if you've worked with black beans, you know they're a little slimy. And we don't want that slime in this particular recipe. So you want to get in there and actually wash them off so they're not really slimy and you know, they've got that coating on them. So let's go ahead and add those in now. Okay. Now, next we've got our 1 can of corn here, and we're just going to go ahead and add that. That's just basic corn. We're going to make sure, again, you drain the corn. We're going to go ahead and add that in as well. All right, and lastly, we've got our 1 package of taco seasoning here, and any brand you prefer, doesn't really matter. 1 standard pack is fine for that, and let's go ahead and add that in as well right now. All right, now what we're going to go ahead and do is just go ahead and stir this up, just like this. All right, you can see how this is all mixing in really well. Now, also what you want to do, like just before I get into this anymore, you want to make sure that when you brown your hamburger and your onions, that you go ahead and drain the grease off. You want to make sure that's all nicely drained, okay, and then go ahead and return the skillet back to the stove before we add these other ingredients in. And then what you also want to do before we actually mix all the ingredients up is make sure you get that down to a simmer. We want to take the heat from a medium to a simmer, all right? And then what we'll do then is just go ahead and mix all this up, like I said. We'll just do like so. And we're going to go ahead and let this simmer for a bit, like that. Now, we're going to go ahead and let that simmer for about 5 minutes, all right? Now, we're going to take a quick little break and set some stuff up here. Now, when we come back, we're going to go ahead and start layering our Mexican beef casserole for you, all right? So come on right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start assembling our Mexican beef casserole for you right now. Now, the first thing you want to go ahead and do is get yourself a 9x13 casserole dish and lightly grease that, all right? And then what you're going to want to go ahead and do is wash your hands, because we're going to be getting in the food a little bit, all right? Playing around in the food. We got our corn tortillas, we got a layer and stuff in, so we're going to be touching that. Before I do that, I'm going to roll up my sleeves, because we're going to get busy here in the kitchen. We're going to start heating up this kitchen and getting this food really rocking and rolling here. So let me go ahead and do that. I've got my casserole dish here. I've got my meat mixture over on the right here, and then I've got over on the left here, I've got my corn tortillas and my sour cream, and we're going to show you how to assemble all this right now. All right, so the first thing you want to do, you've got your lightly greased casserole dish here. You're going to go ahead and take your corn tortillas. And these are about 6-inch diameter corn tortillas. You're going to layer 6 of them on the bottom of your casserole dish. You can see how I'm doing that right now. And you're going to overlap them a little bit. You see how I'm overlapping these just slightly? Okay, just like that. We'll do the second layering like that as well. You kind of want to make sure you cover as much of the bottom as you can. We kind of want to keep this as a little crust. All right, you see how that all works? All right, real simple, short and simple. We're going to go ahead now, take our meat mixture, and we want to put half of our meat mixture on the first layering here, all right? So what you might want to do, if you see how I'm doing this here, just sort of spread out your meat mixture in your skillet, and then go ahead and just, I just do a little diagonal line here, and push everything over. That way I know I've got about half, okay? And what I like to do normally is probably even take a little bit more than half. And so I'd rather have a little more on the second layer, because that's going to be our top for a while that goes into the oven, than to have more on the bottom and then not so much covering everything else on top. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so you're just going to take a spoon here and just go ahead and start layering. All right, just like this. There's no perfect way of doing this. I like to go and do 4 corners. The 4-corner method and you'll see like what I'm doing here. The reason why I'm doing that is because I can spread things out a little bit more. All right. Now, probably what would be easier here is just to go ahead, take your skillet and just go ahead and kind of pour it in, okay? Like I said, split this off like I'm doing here. Just split off half and then go ahead and just pour this in at this point, all right? Try to keep the other half, if you can, keep the other half over to the side. It's going to want to fight to get in with the first half here, all right? And then just kind of judge it from there. All right, I'm probably not helping much here. My camera, I'm trying to show here with the other camera how I'm loading this in. I don't know how well I'm doing on that. Cameraman, like that. All right, so let's see. You've got about a layering here, and just spread this out like so, all right? Don't worry so much about the sides. Again, we're going to cover all that in just a bit with other things. So, all right, so we've got that. Now, what you want to do, take your sour cream, and what I do is just dollop on it. You'll see how I'm doing this. Just dollop a little bit here, a little bit there, just like this, okay? Because we're going to spread this out in just a bit. This is the goodness that goes between all of these great layers. This is something that I love with this particular recipe. This to me kind of is the glue that holds it all together, and it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. You'll see what we're doing here in just a second. Get as much as you can out. Okay, like this. I'm not boring you out there, am I? I know this is really easy stuff, but you know what? Again, you know, it's making it fun. It's making it having a good time. I love bringing my family in. I like bringing my nieces and nephews and people over. My friends' kids, I love having them over. Some of them are watching the show right now, and you just make this a whole family event. It's a lot of fun. All right, so you've got this. All right, you got as much of this as you possibly can out of your cup or your jar, or however you're gonna present that, and then just go ahead and take the back of your spoon here. I'm just using a little teaspoon here, and just spreading it out. You see how I'm doing that? Just spreading it out. Okay? It's kind of like cake batter. If you were frosting a cake, kind of the same method. Now don't worry about getting every little bit, all right? You want to cover as much as you can, just like we tried doing it with the meat mixture on the first layering here. You're going to try to get as much as you can, all right? And just eye it. If you've got a little thickness of some sour cream somewhere else and you think you can move it around, you go right ahead and do that. You see how I'm doing that right here, all right? Just like that. Just like that. All right. That's good. Just like that, right so. All right. There's your layer of sour cream. Now, we're going to go ahead and take our other 6 corn tortillas and layer them on top. Now, we're going to start our second layering here, okay? And we're going to layer it just the way we layered the first one. You see how I'm going over, 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 and then we will go over, over, over again. Okay, just like that. And I'll show you a little trick here when I get these on. There we go, just like that. All right, now what I like to do here at this point, I like to tuck these down a little bit, okay? Just like that, because what this will do is it'll help seal in the first layer. Just a little bit, all right? So wherever you can tuck, feel free to get in there and do that, all right? If you're squeamish about touching your food, get over it. Because guess what? You can try to use utensils to do this, but I'm telling you what, you're going to have more problems and more frustration trying to get things to work for you than if you would just use your hands. So, you know, I come from the old school. I come from the farm school of cooking and such, where, you know, you just got in there and did stuff with it. My mom was always like that, and that's where I learned my early stages of cooking is from her. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put our second layering of meat in here. I'm going to go ahead and be a little smarter this time and go off the angle this way with the camera so it can show you our layering. This is easy because we've already separated everything, so you just have to empty your skillet out at this point, which is what we're going to do here. No rhyme or reason really on this part here. Just get as much as you can of it out. You want all that goodness. You worked hard at getting it to cook and everything. There we go, just like that. All right. Let's take our spoon and just go ahead and, again, layer out your second layering here. Real easy. This is so easy, right? I mean, how? This isn't very difficult, is it? I mean, even somebody who has very minimal experience in the kitchen can put together something this quick and easy, really. And you know what's nice about this? The cost factor on this too. This probably cost, I would say, somewhere in the market of probably around $10 to $12. Okay, and if you get sales on certain things, even a little less. So you know what? You've got a great, short and simple meal here, and you've also got a great economical value in this. This is going to feed a family of at least 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. I don't know. Well, or maybe 2 if you're really hungry. Although I don't know, 2 people eating this, I suppose that you'd have to be a pretty hungry person to probably put away half of this casserole dish. All right, so there you go. Nice little layer for you right there. Set that over there. That is it. Now, what we're going to do, we have a preheated 350-degree oven. We're going to go ahead and put this in for about 25 minutes. All right, and then what we'll do is we're going to take it out after the 25 minutes. We're going to add a nice decadent top of cheeses on top of this, all right? And then we're going to show you that final step, put it back in for a few minutes, get it nice and brown, and then we're going to have a nice little presentation for you and show you the end result. But before we do all this, I'm going to stick this in the oven right now and get it started. There we go. All right. While that's baking for 25 minutes, let's go ahead and take a little break and see what we got in the mailbag this week. We've got one of our viewers out there who has asked either myself or one of our special ingredient guest hosts a question and answer, and we hold no bars in responding back. So let's see what our viewer has to ask this week.
Mailbag.
On this edition of Mailbag, this question comes to yours truly, Chef Ron Locke. Now this question comes from Mary Kay in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And Mary Kay wants to know what my favorite recipe is. That's a great question, Mary Kay. Let me tell you what it is. It is my mom's herbal bread stuffing. Now the reason for that is that my mom had signature dishes like this one that she would only do at certain times of the year. Now her stuffing she would only make at Thanksgiving. And her reasoning for this was basically because she wanted us to anticipate a certain recipe for a certain period of time, or a certain holiday, or a certain occasion, something like that. So her stuffing was the one she picked for Thanksgiving, as it naturally would be, as most people do stuffing for Thanksgiving. So that is my favorite recipe. I do it to this day for my own self in memory of my mom and for my guests that I have over for Thanksgiving as well. So I've carried the tradition on from her to myself. But that is my favorite recipe. So that's a great question, Mary. Thank you so much for asking. Now, if you want to have a future question asked and read on Mailbag, just simply write to crl@chefronlocke.com. That's crl@chefronlocke.com, and in the subject heading just put mailbag in there and simply ask your question, and maybe we will ask one of yours and answer it for you on a future episode. All right, back to the Chef Ron Locke Show. Well, all right, we are back. I hope you enjoyed our little mail segment there that we just did for you. We are going to go ahead and do our final layering on our Mexican beef casserole and put her back in the oven for a little bit more. So I've got my cheese right here, and we're just going to go ahead, and you can see, I guess, on here that I've got a little bit of the peppers in there. You'll see it as I layer it as well. All right. So all I'm going to do is just take this. Probably be easier if I just do it this way and try to spill it on the counter and all over every place else. We're just going to layer it on top. All right. Just like this. Now, no need to be worrying about being neat here. This is 4 cups of cheese, by the way. Now, I like a lot of cheese on mine. You can use 2 cups if you only want a little bit of a smattering on it. But I like to load the cheese on thick here. My goal here is to get the cheese to get near the top of our casserole dish here. And you just spread this out like so. You see how I'm doing that? Get a good representation of your jalapeno pepper here. Now, I just use 1 jalapeno when I'm using this recipe here. You can go ahead and use 2 or 3. I do a mild because I try to respect the people that are going to be eating this, because some people have a different tolerance to the heat factor of pepper. So I like to kind of take that into consideration when I'm making my meals and stuff. And then I always put condiments and different sauces and things out if they want to spice it up a little bit more. That is up to them. So, alright, now you see we've got a nice layering here. Now, just kind of keep an eye on the cheese here because you've just pulled this out of a 350-degree oven. A little warm here. And you want to make sure that you don't have too much of it hanging off on the sides. Alright, there you go. Just like that. Now see, we got it almost to the top here. Set this to the side. We're going to go ahead right now and put this into our 375-degree oven. So what you want to do is crank your oven up to another 25 degrees. We want to brown this cheese and make a nice crust on top. So what we're going to do is, again, put this into a 375-degree oven for about 10 minutes. Now you kind of want to keep an eye on this at about the 8-minute point. Every oven's a little different. Every oven heats a little differently, so it can go anywhere between 8 to 15 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is, to brown this. Your objective here is to get this coating, this topping, a nice bubbly golden brown. You don't want it burnt, you just want a nice golden brown. It's going to cook a little bit more when you let it rest after you take it out of the oven too. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let me get my mitts here, and here they are. The crew's moving them on me here. It's like hide and seek, you know? Putting this in the oven here, 375 for about 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a break here while that's getting done. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and show you the final presentation of our Mexican beef casserole. And we're going to take a little taste of this and just see if it stacks up to what this recipe is really about, alright? So you come right back, alright? See you in a bit.
On the next episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show.
And then from there, I ended up going to New York, and I went to planning school. I got my degree in event planning, okay? And so from there, I ended up going and working under different people, and you find that funny? No, not that way, sweetie. I'm sorry. No. Christopher Cub did not sleep his way to the top. No. No. Put them on a plate or however you want to eat them. Grab and go, whatever you want to do. So what was that? Yeah. Yes, I did wash. Somebody in the audience said, "Did you wash your hands?" And yes, I washed my hands. You saw me do it on the break, actually. I got hecklers here already. I have hecklers on my show already. Can you believe that? All right. Yes, my hands are clean. Anyway, but hi everyone, we're back. Did you happen to see how wonderful that Mexican beef casserole turned out? I'm telling you, the peppers on top, everything just kind of gravitates toward the top. That's why you shouldn't get too concerned with the mixture of the peppers and the cheese at the end. You may not see a lot on top, but all that weight kind of pushes up at the end. And you saw, just like you're seeing, how wonderful that all layers out at the very end. Nice and golden brown. Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we're going to go ahead and do our presentation here for you. Let's take a walk over to our plate here. Interesting little comment about this plate that I have here. Good friend of mine, Brad Robinson. Let me tell you about it. Right before the end of the new year in 2013, we're in 2014 right now, a good friend of mine came over and we were filming some of the episodes for this new show. and he was trying to help out on the set here and everything, and he took, my mother had a set of plates, and most of them got destroyed in a move back in the late 70s, early 80s, but she had one plate left. And when my mother passed away in 2009, I got this one plate. It was a very special plate. It just was something that attached, you know, my mother to myself, and it was something that was very much of a keepsake for myself as well. Well, he picked the plate up, and it was a little greasy on the bottom, and he went to put it in the sink, and it slipped out of his hand, and it broke on the floor. You know, and what do? You know, you know, I felt worse, I think, for him at the moment than I felt for losing the plate, because he knew the whole story about it and was just heartsick about it. We tried finding a replacement for this plate. Well, my friend Brad, who works for a replacement company, tried really hard to find this plate. Now, I didn't know anything about this, and I had put this on Facebook, and it was just something that was really kind of sickening to me as far as, you know, losing this plate. Well, he ended up finding not the original round plate that was with this set, but this oval plate that I have here, that I have my casserole on right here with. And so this is going to be kind of a special plate that I use for the show in two parts, because of somebody's great karma of doing this great deed and paying it forward to myself. I received this and didn't even know about it, and it was just an amazing thing. It just really, it was just extremely, it was an extremely great thing that he did. And secondly, because even though it's not my mom's plate anymore, it's part of the whole set that she had, and it just brings back a lot of memories, and, you know, it just gives a lot of sentiment to the whole aspect of it. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that here with the first episode and everything, because I was really touched by that pay it forward type of kindness that my friend Brad did. And I think that, you know, we all need to do that out there once in a while too. So anyway, all right, enough about that. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the plate, because I was really excited about the whole aspect, and I thought the story was kind of interesting how that all came about. So with that, let's get on with our presentation here. You can see on our plate here we have a piece of our Mexican beef casserole, and I'm going to go ahead right now and just take a little taste of this and just see if it matched up to what the recipe normally does. And let me go ahead and just cut into this right now. Alright, just like that. Let me grab a little napkin here, just in case this thing tends to want to spill. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. Let me tell you though, when you take a bite into this casserole for the first time, what you're going to taste right off the bat is the corn tortilla taste. It's got this very Mexican flavor to it. And you're tasting the beans, and you're tasting the nice spicy chilies and the tomatoes that are in there from the rotel, and you're tasting also a nice chunk of the jalapeno that is infused in the cheese as well. Like I said, I only put one jalapeno in here. If you want to go ahead and put 2 or 3, if you really want to jack it up and make it really spicy, be my guest. I try to make my food a little bit kind of on the middle to accommodate all flavors. But if you've got a family that loves hot food, spice it up, kick it up, you know. It works real well. It's a fantastic dish. It's easy, it's economical, and I highly recommend this one to you for this first episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show. So that's it. That's it for our show. I want to thank Grandma Flo. Grandma Flo for coming on to our show here and being our first ingredient presenter that we had. We've got 3 more that we're going to roll out for you here in the coming weeks. I also want to thank each and every one of you out there for your support and your friendship and your interest in myself, Chef Ron Locke, and the recipes that I've been providing to you on social media and different aspects throughout the course of the years that I've been doing this. All right, so thank you so much. I'm going to applaud you for that. So with that, we'll be back next week with another episode of the Chef Ron Locke Show with another great recipe, a new ingredient presenter for you. And with that, this is Chef Ron Locke saying to each and every one of you out there, Let's start heating up the kitchen, and let's keep it short and simple. See you next time.